Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
So Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. It's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area.
There's a super speedway in Lincoln, Alabama that stands on an airfield deep in the heart of the southern state. And here tonight, it's full throttle racing for week number 9 of Racing Revolution. Presented here live on V-Speed, it's the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series, presented by Racing Revolution. The Aloe Barbershop 235 here for week number 9, and we've seen a limited list of drivers get wins, but only one multi-time winner so far this season. Welcome in, I'm your host, Bradley Cooper. Back alongside me here tonight, we have Alex Gagnon in the co-commentary. I hope you enjoyed the bye week and some time off, but the last week at Bristol, it was eventful. Some new names up front, and I'll tell you what, Alex, you missed a heck of a race. Those guys went back and forth every single lap, and it came down to Alex Forget getting the win there.
Yeah, it's a bummer I wasn't able to make that one, but to tell you how amped I was for Talladega tonight, I showed up a week early. I definitely didn't get into the call last week, ready to rock and roll, and then at 8:25, remember that race wasn't happening until tonight. So we've been sitting on this one for a minute. It should be a ton of fun. Do a little bit of super speedway racing here tonight.
And you look at the points here with Jeremy Burns just ahead of Trevor Erhardt. It's a slight gap there of about 60 points. You go back to Caleb Gilbert, who is 4 back from that, and it's a big separation. The separations get bigger and bigger as you go, as natural, but it's a pretty dramatic drop to Grant Turner in 20th position. Of course, we have drop weeks in this league. You get 2 of them through the season. So soon enough, we'll be adding that in as a factor. We'll have more accurate points. But right now, as it sits, there's 2 winners that are not on this list. And of course, with the top 20, you have to maintain a top 26 to guarantee your way into the playoffs.
Yeah, and that's just something that these drivers will have to keep an eye on as this season progresses. And some of those early winners who may not have found the success they were looking for so far through the opening 8 races, they'll have to kind of up that performance just a little bit to make sure there's not going to be any stressors there going down the stretch.
A look at our racetrack here tonight, 2.66 miles, 33 degrees of banking. It's one of the steepest racetracks ever made. And you know, we've been at Talladega a lot of times here on V-Speed, but not as many cars as we're going to see here tonight. This is over 30 on the field, 33. The only other league I think that we're getting these kind of numbers is S&R, so it makes it even more exciting when you have this many guys going around this racetrack, and they're going to do it for 94 laps here tonight. Pit road speed limit at 60 miles per hour. An extra set of tires in the pits, 2 green-white checkered attempts in that stage at lap 30 on the iRacing fixed setup. But with that, it's time to take you trackside and get that pole award up on the screen. Starting on that top spot here tonight, Coastal Financial Pole Award goes to John Fike in the number 65. Our mission at Coastal Financial is to provide comprehensive financial planning solutions tailored to each individual's unique needs and goals with the aim of empowering our clients to make informed financial decisions and achieve their financial potential. You can find us at coastalfinancial.com or on Facebook at Coastal Financial. And congratulations to John Fike in the number 65. I believe that's his first pole award of the season. So let's show the rest of your grid with Dakota Floyd starting on his outside for row number 1, and it was 5 thousandths of a second separating those 2 drivers. Row number 2 goes to Grant Thorpe with Kyle Diaz in 4th, Caleb Gilbert and Christopher Schaefer 5th and 6th, Justice Murphy, Al Likens, and then Carter Lenz and Alex Forget Berube rounding out the top 10.
Back in row 6, it'll be Trevor Keith alongside Kevin Orlando Jr., Trevor Erhardt, and Travis Gilbert make up row number 7. In 15th, it'll be Jackson McGeorge alongside Nick Alves, Tyler Harrison, and Justin Ritchie in row 9. And then in row 10, it'll be Matt Robinson and Dylan Picklesimer.
Then you got 21st position with Michael Reed, Chris Nail in 22nd, Parker Johnston and Brandon Richardson will start 23rd, 24th. Daniel Holloway and Grant Turner, Michael Call with Joe Joya. We still got about 6 more cars to talk about here with Kyle Stewart, Michael Bennett, but we're getting ready to go green flag racing. Here we go for week number 9. It's the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series live from Talladega. Finally, lap number 1, it's going to be Fike by just a couple thousandths of a second that time. Barely got the push there from Dakota Floyd. And we've seen these next generation stock cars go around this racetrack. Alex, you got to know, and I'm sure you're well aware, the outside line with the side draft is kind of where you want to be here.
Yeah, at least in recent updates here on iRacing, this is the spot you want to be, is where Fike is right now. That said, did not get a good entry there in the 3. Thorpe going to be able to edge ahead, as is Caleb Gilbert. 2 cars now clear on the inside lane. Does the 54 elect to step out, or is he going to stay glued to the back bumper of the 77? Looks like he's going to stay down to the low side. Fike trying to rally that high lane. Back at it here through the tri-oval. Thorpe, though, going to lead that lap as the outside line pulls even in the turn 1.
The other thing that we know here is rest in peace my graphics card. It is working hard right now. Just got a warning that my temperatures were spiking. Speaking of temperatures, we have the weather up on top of the screen. 92 degrees on the track surface, and not as much of a factor as it is at other places. Because of the steep banking, these cars usually stay full throttle, but it can cause a bad bump to get you loose a little bit sooner. And I think right now, as warm as it is, this is a little bit toasty for Talladega, a little bit beyond that comfort zone. So some of these guys kind of hanging back a little bit. Now a little bit more of a push on the outside, and here goes Dakota Floyd for the top spot.
Floyd now looking to the inside lane, trying to get under John Fike here through turns 1 and 2 as they remain stacked up, double file all the way through the field here. Floyd going to take the advantage, though, on the inside lane. He got a good run out of the corner. He's not able to get that separation from Fike just yet, although you see just how hard the 77 is pushing Dakota Floyd here into turn 3. Grant Thorpe is just glued to the back bumper right now, and that's something that we see especially with the second cars in line here in these next-gen cars, is once you get up to someone's back bumper, you can really just keep laying into it. The advantage of it is it helps link that draft as tight as possible. The downside, you stay there for too long, you get no clean air on the nose of that race car, and it really can start to spike temps inside the engine in a hurry.
We're riding on board here with Dylan Picklesheimer. This is where the 3 wide starts back here and around the 15th position. You have Nick Alves there just ahead. We were talking about that third line in previous races. It takes a lot in this car to stay on the bottom, but if you can run this outside, as you see a big surge of speed, prime example right here. Look how fast these cars come into 3 and 4. They're going to pick up 4 or 5 positions in one spot.
Yeah, and they were just able to use that momentum that they carried to jump up there when everyone else was all marred in traffic. Eventually the block thrown there from Travis Gilbert to kind of arrest that momentum. You see cars. Oh, Picklesheimer got tagged by Grant Turner, the 35, trying to lock it down and save it.
That could have been so much worse here, Alex. He did a fantastic job of locking down that car and keeping it off the outside wall. I think he just got brazed there barely.
Yeah, I think Sirkovich ended up getting a piece of him and getting into the fence, but that was the only car I saw making contact. Take another look at it here. You see that outside lane just gets a little out of sorts. The 39 and the 35 make contact at a bad place on the track. And
yeah, Sirkovich, nowhere to go.
And that is a huge hit there for Sirkovich, but we stay green. It's a tough break for the 5 here early on. But that could have been the big one here very early with how far up into the field that happened. Kind of miraculous it only caught up 2 cars.
Yeah, we stayed green. That's the other part of it, right? Because it was mid-pack. It was right there around the 15th position that all went down. But there's a breakaway because of that. And if you look at the gap back here to Bennett, because of that checkup, everybody scattering around. Now we're talking about 4 seconds back to the 14 machine. Tyler Harrison got caught up in that checkup as well. And they're proceeding around this racetrack with a pack almost 18 cars deep, pulling away.
This is going to be an opportunity for these cars in the lead group to get some good track position before they'll have to think about coming down pit road. The stage tonight scheduled for lap 30. They're not going to be able to make it until they make a stop down pit road for fuel. So this is a lot of getting in position here, making sure you're in the right place where you want to be coming down pit road. And this lead group of about 18 are going to have a huge advantage on those cars that are stuck deeper into the field because they have all this draft help and a lot of takers who will all have to go down pit road around the same time. So for this lead group now, Everything's starting to settle in a little bit once again. The outside fading a little bit. Fike has dropped back to about the 5th position here. He's battling there with Justice Murphy. But Dakota Floyd, Grant Thorpe, and Caleb Gilbert all clear up at the front of the field. No, that was almost really bad. Christopher Schaefer popped that line, tried getting back in, and now he's going to have nowhere to go as Michael Reed slides on by, and Grant Turner, boy, did he get his nose chopped off there by the 23. Schaefer making sure he was going to get back in line one way or another.
And there's Grant Turner, has a win in the Truck Series at Atlanta. Right on board. I don't think we're going to do the pedal cam today. Why not? You know what? He puts it up there. Let's put it up there. I think we pretty much have an understanding of what it's going to look like here. I don't even know why he's got the left foot on that brake pedal.
Just to make sure no one checks up on him, I suppose. We've got Grant Turner's onboard.
That's a big checkup just now.
Joe Joya. We were watching the onboard here of the 7. The foot cam there for Grant Turner, and you know, you see for this group that's stuck a little deeper in traffic, like Joe and some of these other cars here in the second pack, they're all just trying to single file out and trying to make time back up to that lead group.
Yeah, I don't know why I have Joe Joya up here. I think I'm a little bit broken on my car numbers here from the Truck Series, so I apologize. Let's try to find the proper driver cam.
You're looking for Mr. number 39 there, Grant Turner.
There we go. I
and he is
it.
right.
I promise.
Yeah. And he is right in the thick of things right now. He's going to try to work his way up here on this outside lane. He's on the back bumper of Schaefer. It's right back up to the tail end of that Toyota Camry. Going to give him just a little bit of encouragement off of turn 2. A little bit of a push there down the back straightaway. He's in top 10 right now and fighting for position. A little bit of a new setup, it looks like, maybe, for Grant Turner, or maybe just the LEDs in the back have always been so bright I've never seen it, but I think it's a different setup.
Yeah, it's definitely new shelves, and he's been kind of flexing those collections and model cars, been talking to him post-race in the Truck Series, so yeah, he's put a lot of work into that room. Car steps out here, that's the 13.
Yeah,
I like it.
Just jumped up there and starting to make this outside lanes really where you're kind of going right now to try to make something happen. These cars stuck on the inside lane, you have nowhere really to go. You can't drop down below that double yellow. So if you're going to try to find any forward mobility, you got to go up and over, trying to make something happen. But the double wide here from Thorpe on back is letting this lead group start to pull away just a hair. Dakota Floyd on up. That's Michael Reed, Kyle Diaz, and John Fike, your leader. Starting to just put a couple of car lengths of space here from the remaining 14 cars of this lead pack. Yeah, and that is going to be nice. The one thing you've got to be mindful of if you're Michael Call on back is that with the nature of the fuel load for these cars, they do need to come down pit road before the stage is over. As you see, they're going to go along the lapped car of Michael Sirkovich. Meanwhile, Michael Reed is just punting Sirkovich through the corner there. That inside line got completely checked up in the lap traffic, and now the outside lane is just roaring past him. It's completely cut off the momentum there for the inside group. So a lot happening in this lead pack over the past lap. Oh, and that takes Floyd, Thorpe, and more. Caleb Gilbert down on the apron. That was a big one. Oh. I'm hearing word that Trevor Keith also got a huge part of the outside wall in that exchange. So he's already been getting pushed a good bit there from Reed on the inside, and that was just a push in the wrong spot. The 5 was up off the apron. The 91 got his nose in there under him. Gets him in the that left rear corner, and especially when you move up into the high banking of the corners here, it's so easy from that spot to get the car out of sorts, and immediately goes around, and he comes back down the track. That's the hard part here, where he goes to try to save it. From fully losing it. He gets back down the racetrack into Dakota Floyd, into Grant Thorpe, and you see, the 91 just gets in there, and the 5 gave him just enough of a window to put a nose in. Collects the 57 and the 77, and that fallout ran several lanes further back as well, ultimately ending up with Trevor Keith also hammering that outside wall pretty hard. He sees the smoke. He tries getting down to the apron, and I think he either had a little bit of help from behind or just got really out of sorts trying to get it slowed down. Shot back up the racetrack. Everybody lucky there was no one up there. Yep. And that is the first caution of the day, although the second incident, but it comes at a prime time here for everyone in this lead group. They're going to be able to come on down, refill that fuel tank, and they will be good to go to make it to the stage break there at lap 30. Grant Thorpe as well. Looks like Forget and Keith going to get some work done on their cars as well. It's a huge break for a lot of those cars who were off that lead group from that initial incident there with Sirkovich and Picklesheimer to get brought back into that lead pack. So, guys like Michael Call, Parker Johnston, Joe Joya, Daniel Holloway, all these guys who were part of that second pack going to be able to regroup here. And it's going to be, once again, a huge mess up at the front of the field.
So Kyle Diaz will be the command car. The 5 will get the wave by after going sideways, getting some of this damage repaired. We still have plenty of racing left to be done here on V-Speed. Don't go anywhere. We have more coverage of the Chapman Cup Series live here on V-Speed. The Aloe Barbershop 235. We'll be back right after this.
Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. It's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
Back just in time here to take the restart in stage number 1, and your pole sitter, John Fike, the command car for this restart. I thought Fike had a little bit of damage there, but it was just a graphical error, and he is holding on to the top spot. One of the drivers that has gained 11 positions, though, trying to take away the lead, Kevin Orlando Jr. to the bottom.
Yeah, here comes that 27 machine. He's getting a great push right now from Michael Reed down on the low side, glued to the back bumper. Meanwhile, up high, Grant Turner putting in a lot of work right now, shoving that 65 back to the point. The pole sitter going to have the lead here off of turn 4, and him and Turner are going to clear that inside lane and more. What are they going to do going through the tri-oval?
What a push there from Grant Turner, the 39. Grant the toes. Turner puts the 65 all the way to the top spot. Here comes Caleb Gilbert, Dakota Floyd, who did get involved in that caution. Remember, we saw the 5 of Sirkovich go across the nose of that machine. Somehow, he's still kept it up here.
Yeah, he's doing a great job right now, keeping himself in position. And in the draft, that will minimize some of that front-end damage, assuming the arrow isn't too bent out of shape. As we jump on board, Matt Robinson in the 11 right now. Oh, he's a little out of sorts there in front of him with Harrison. Almost took a look to the middle. Didn't end up taking it, but here comes that inside line with a vengeance as Fike and Turner have dropped down. Caleb Gilbert now leading that high side, trying to find the lead. Some new faces in the top 10 battling it out for, spots in that group. But this battle for the lead, very familiar at the moment, as we see 3 wide developing from about 15th on back.
It's Jackson McGeorge in the number 98 machine. He's outside of the 90, or the 88 of Chris Nail. Now going to work the press towards the 55 of Justin Ritchie. And you look through this field, a lot of these drivers really thankful that that caution did come out, because we had a split of probably half and half. The group in between, it got caught by the other remaining cars and a few others that had kind of gotten pushed out from that wreck that never brought out a yellow. This is going to allow them the opportunity to catch back up, and you're now seeing the 21. It's 3 wide for the top 10.
Yeah, starting to work his way up here is Daniel Holloway. He's got a good run going on the outside, looking around Justice Murphy as Murphy and McGeorge almost came together. Could say the same for Linz and Bresnock just behind him. This 3 wide is starting to get a little squirrely. The laps are ticking away till the end of the stage here, and they are closing in on the leaders. We jump on board here with Bresnock. Linz drops down. Here comes McGeorge on the high side. That third lane losing a bit of momentum here. And now it's Linz who's going to jump up high. Things getting all out of sorts here. They are shifting like crazy. It's miraculous no one's bounced off each other yet with how much they're wiggling around in the corners.
A move up there to the middle line and a move down to the bottom. The 57 of Floyd, the 91 of Reed. They'll dance around here around the 5th position. But one thing's considered. Tyler Harrison took away the top spot from Fike, and he's going to look to lead this time by, but the 39 of Grant Turner knows what he's doing at super speedways. He's going to push the 65 through the tri-oval car around in the background.
And it's going to bring out the yellow as that looks like Joe Gioia spinning down to the apron. The 7 going to try to get this thing collected. I don't think he made any contact with the inside wall. We'll have to see what happened. That was toward the tail end of the field here. Getting the push from Picklesheimer that just went wrong through the tri-oval, and Trevor Erhardt, big front end damage as he gets a piece of the 7.
Seven just kind of fell in his lap there.
Yeah, not much you can do there if you're Trevor Erhardt. You're just trying to go about your business. All of a sudden, there's a car spinning in front of you. You just kind of need to make a split-second decision, but even if you made that reaction immediately, there was just nowhere really for him to go.
Picklesheimer got up on the back bumper, and there's a push here. Moved him up the racetrack a little bit there. iRacing pace car is going to come out. I tell you, John Fike and Grant Turner have done a fantastic job thus far in stage number 1, as we're just shy of that. I don't have confirmation here if we'll go back green or if that counts as the stage, but
to my understanding, I do not believe so. I believe that the caution has to come out within 5 laps of the stage for it to count as the stage. So since this one happened on 24 with the stage being at 30, I do not believe that this will count as the official stage break. But right now, John Fike and Grant Turner put themselves in really good position to go for that stage win, and they've done it through very different ways there, Bradley. You know, John Fike starts on the pole, has just kept himself out up at the front of the field all evening long to this point. Meanwhile, Grant Turner started all the way back in 26th and has had to work his way up into this mix, but has done a great job cutting through the field here early on.
Up 24 positions for the 39 car, started back in 26th. And this wasn't a product of pit stops or a cycle. This was just straight up driving through the field. He's been up here for a while, and Grant Turner showing that he knows his way around Talladega. You have Tyler Harrison, Matt Robinson, Daniel Holloway, the top 5. Any one of these drivers could get it done, though. It's going to be a shootout to the stage. It's going to be all go here, especially in the top 5.
Yeah, that it is. We'll be very interested to see who is going to try to take a pushing role here and try to hold on to position, and who's really going to go for it, take the big swing, try to go for the stage win, but also might cost themselves stage points. It's always the balance at these super speedways, you know. Just because you want to make a move doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be able to if no one goes with you. The draft is so critical for these Gen 7 cars. You need to make sure you've got a little bit of help when you go to make that move.
Setting back up here as the light should go out on the pace car this time by. Looks like we might go one more time around. And we will not. So there it is. Lights are out this time around.
Yep, so this time by will be going green. And, you know, this track is so big that even at 200 miles an hour nearly takes a minute to get around here. And you're going about 70 or so, 75. You can bump that up to about 2.25 minutes and how long it takes to get around this place. It is a long drive, but also really amps up the nerves on these restarts because you spend so much time kind of just, I wouldn't say idling, but you're not really having to focus too hard on what you're doing. And then you finally have to let it rip, and there's just everyone on top of you at once. It's just a kind of an all or nothing situation on these restarts, and everyone feels like they need to make the move right then and there. And these kind of restarts, especially with such a short window, I think we could see potentially another issue before we even get back to finish off this stage, just through the nature of, you know, everyone's bottled back up, the nerves are high, they know it's only a couple laps until they hit the stage, and they might let it rip.
So there's been two constants here tonight. John Fike, who started on the pole, has remained up front. He's led a lot of laps here today, 17 to be exact, out of the 27 we're going to complete here. And it'll be 18 laps in just a moment. And then the other constant that we've seen is this racetrack looks like it's difficult to push each other. And if you are slightly off through the tri-oval, you're going to send somebody around. We've seen a couple guys get bad pushes here tonight. But maybe, just maybe, we can run this thing out to the end of the stage. Here we go. Doubled back up. Chapman Cup Series ready to go with John Fike. Matt Robinson behind him in the 39 of Grant Turner. Not a good restart for Turner. Green flag though.
So Fike gonna drop down in front of the 39. Here comes Robinson back to the high side. Justice Murphy gonna try to get pulled up to his back bumper. Daniel Holloway, Tyler Harrison, this third row as they roar in there. Harrison very conscious about the closing speed he had to the 12. Lifted just a little bit so he didn't slam the back bumper of Justice Murphy. Instead gives him a bit more of a gentle push that careens into the 11. And that's outside lane. They're looking pretty strong here on this restart. They're going to be right alongside Fike as they make their way off of 4.
You say that, and then here goes Fike and just gets a shove. The 39 has been the constant here, keeping that 65 up front. That time around, it will be the 65 again, leading another time. 21 pokes out. He's going to go up in front of Robinson. Daniel Holloway is going to try his luck on the high line, see if he can get something working.
Holloway going to try to reel him in, but right now, Grant Turner is just a machine, shoving John Fike to the front of this field. Holloway, though, with some extra draft help, working his way up the hill. He's got a ton of momentum. He's going to try to carry on the high side. No one on that inside lane is filling in behind Turner. And now the Candyman to the point here at Talladega. Holloway going to take the lead. Robinson and Murphy hot on his heels through the tri-oval.
It was well planned. He saw the check up there for the 39. Probably knew he was getting a little bit warm, so he stepped out from the third position. And he'll find that top spot with just 2 laps to go in stage number 1. Daniel Holloway, Matt Robinson, Justice Murphy, Tyler Harrison, Dakota Floyd has found his way back to the top 5.
Kyle Stewart up in that mix as well. He's another big mover. He started way back in the field, and he has put himself in good position here from 29th all the way up to the top 10 as they run. Everyone, though, chasing Daniel Holloway. The 21 out in front as they'll be making their way through the tri-oval for the penultimate time during the stage here. Be one more time around from Talladega to settle who's going to be the stage winner. Justice Murphy has help from Robinson up high. They left the 11 and 21 out to dry at first, but now filing back in the line. Single file down on the apron through 1 and 2.
21 Holloway, and we've somehow made it this far. Let's see if we can make it all the way to the end. Turner off on the apron. 21. Holloway has company to the outside. He planned it to 3. Here comes Justice Murphy to try to snag away this stage win. The 45 of Harrison going to help him out of 4. Side by side for the top spot. How long will it last? The 12 is clear, and it looks like Justice Murphy is going to get stage number 1 in race number 9.
Nicely done, nicely timed from the driver of the 12. Stepped out at just the right moment, had some fantastic support from behind there from Tyler Harrison. Gets him up to the point, and he will win the stage here tonight at Talladega. Top 10 on your screen: Murphy, Harrison, Holloway, Robinson, Floyd, McGeorge, Stewart, Fike, Picklesheimer, and Gilbert, your top 10. That's Travis Gilbert. Dylan Picklesheimer, a very notable top 10 there in the stage with some of the things he got caught up on early on in this race. A good rebound, capitalizing on that late stage restart.
So Justice Murphy puts it up top, and there's an art to how you get around these super speedways. You saw that pass there. Just out of the backstretch into turn 3, he steps out. It was enough there to communicate with Tyler Harrison. I'm sure those guys had already kind of planned that pass, or maybe just on the same page. But it's almost telepathy when you see a driver step out like that. You see the run 2 or 3 moves in advance, and now you're going to see a move to pit road. That's definitely the strategy, though. You want to pit on this stage, get topped off with fuel. You were talking earlier there, Alex, about how you want to pit in a group. If you're on a different fuel strategy, unlike what we've seen this season, if you find yourself pitting 10, 15 laps different than everyone else, you're going to get left behind.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the tough part, is that you need to find something different than the field strategy-wise, but you need to find a handful of friends who are going to be running the exact same strategy you are, which has a blessing and a curse to it. Let me tell you, it's nice to have a couple of friends working the same strategy so you don't get hung out to dry in the draft, but then even if that is the winning strategy, you still have a number of cars that you need to contest with simultaneously to go for that win. It's very interesting, and it's a product of this super speedway style of racing where everything is so draft dependent that you need to be sure that when you come down pit road, especially under green, that you've got a couple of friends coming with you.
So stage 1 is complete, and it is the 12 of Justice Murphy getting the win. 11 lead changes, 3 cautions, one of those for the stage. And John Fike will be the command car for this restart. Still plenty of racing left to go, though, and we're going to take another quick break while we round these drivers back up. Stage number 2 on the way for the Chapman Cup Series, week number 9 at Talladega in the Aloe Barbershop 235. Back with more on V-Speed right after this.
Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. It's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
Welcome back here to Talladega Super Speedway. Week number 9, stage number 1 has been completed. It was Justice Murphy in the number 12. Shout out to everybody out there in the chat that's been watching here tonight. If you have a favorite driver, go ahead and throw them up here in the chat. We'll get them some love. Whether it's on board or in a driver camera, we have 4 drivers with the camera, with Trevor Keith, actually 3 drivers, Grant Turner and Jeremy Burns. I think we need to incentivize this driver camera. It's starting to dwindle away a little bit here, Alex.
Yeah, we'll have to go back to the drawing board on that one, but this is also one of those nights with the driver cameras that there may not be a ton to see. It's a lot of people who are just going to be dialed in on making sure they don't run over the person in front of them or alongside them. It's the pace car going to peel off, and they're going to loop their way through the tri-oval toward that start-finish line.
So here we go for stage number 2. Green flag is out. We're back underway at Talladega.
Great launch there for John Fike and company. The outside lane going to get connected in a hurry. The 65 going to lead them through turns 1 and 2. Here comes Daniel Holloway, though, back to the inside. Going to try to find a way to make their way back up there. Right now, though, it's been tough to separate John Fike and Grant Turner. These two have been dialed in the moment that they got connected.
Not enough there out of 4. The 65 will hold on to that top spot, this time in the middle line. We've seen Fike on the outside. They're kind of migrating a little bit higher and higher on this racetrack, Alex. I don't know if that's by design as we put that ticker up on the left side of your screen. Good luck keeping up with it. I've had struggles all night here tonight. In fact, I've clicked on the wrong driver for cameras.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been so busy watching how fast this has been moving around. I mean, you can even see in the top 10 just how much it shuffles on a lap-to-lap basis. That outside line, though, the place to be right now. They are running really strong. The top 5 all on the outside. Fike, Turner, Justice Murphy, Chris Nail, and Kyle Diaz. A couple of names we haven't talked about as much tonight. And then Al Likens battling it out with Holloway there in that 6th spot. Still a lot of double file here from about 5th back through the top 20. We jump on board with Al Likens, who's qualified in the top 10. He's been running in the top 10 all evening long. It's been a pretty good start here so far for the 13.
And a wow there from Ruth Ann. You know what? Just for a wow. Let's go with a high noon driver in board with Jackson McGeorge in the 98. Currently running back in 27th, but it is busy through this field. But I see an opportunity here. Jackson McGeorge, if he holds that pedal, he can draft up here. He can gain 10 spots easily.
Yeah, he's looking to try to pull onto the back bumper of Brandon Richardson here. Using that draft to work his way into turn 1. You see the closing rate to the inside lane. Kyle Stewart just getting sucked back here to the 98. And now McGeorge going to work his way up and around that 10 machine. And he is fully now in the middle of this 3-wide battle.
We're on board there. I mean, it's really difficult for me to not drive vicariously through some of these guys. I can see the middle is there. Where do you go here, Alex? I think you stay in the middle and work your way through.
Yeah, I mean, this is really the place you want to be. You just got to be in a spot that's going to side draft you the least. And sometimes in the middle, you think it's the most, but in these next-gen cars, if you have enough help there, you can actually make some really good time running that middle lane, assuming the other sides are not stacked up as well.
Chris Nail takes over the top spot, though, and while we were watching that battle in the back, it's 3 wide for the lead. All the way on the outside is Daniel Holloway, Caleb Gilbert. Gilbert there on that third line. Holloway pushing the bottom.
3 wide. It is getting dicey in there. That is a place I would not want to be right now, as I was, say, Grant Turner 2-3 cars deep on the inside lane. Boy, there is just no escape in any direction. Now Fike bails on him, tries to get to the inside, just barely able to slide in front of Trevor Erhardt. And now we have a couple of disjointed lanes here, all going to battle inside the top 10.
On board here with Trevor Erhardt. So you see the 39 and the 13 get some momentum. The 22 outside line redevelops. And oh, you're from Florida there, Alex. Maybe I shouldn't disclose that here on V-Speed. You probably wouldn't appreciate that, but you're oh so familiar with the storm that redevelops, and that eye wall makes a cycle. It re-strengthens. How about this for the outside line? Back to a Category 4.
Yeah, they have recycled, retooled here in a big way, and now Grant Turner has put himself in the position to go for the lead on the outside. Chris Nail trying to hold on to it down low. He's leading his first laps of the night. The 88 and the Mountain Dew Dale Jr. throwback. Or sorry, the Amp Energy Mountain Dew throwback. As you see, he's got the inside lane on lockdown right now thanks to a nice push from Daniel Holloway. Grant Turner, though, running really strong on that outside. I'm curious to see if Al Likens is going to be as good of a pusher for Grant Turner as Turner had been to folks like John Fike in the previous laps.
Not looking like it here off of turn 4, though. Likens not glued to that bumper, but still enough aero push that they're going to stay side by side this time by. Turner's going to get it. Just barely.
Just barely, but it does look like things have settled down just a hair. We've gone from 3 wide throughout the field back down the 2 lanes of racing here off of turn 2. Everyone has kind of found a spot in line, and they're going to stick to it at least for a moment. The entire 33-car field are within 2 seconds of each other down the back straightaway. Everybody on the lead lap, and that includes Jacob Sirkovich, who had to go a lap down early with that damage in the lap 6 incident that was not a caution. He has not only got that damage repaired enough, but he's already up to 22nd and working his way forward despite the damage that he had sustained.
Likens got the 39 up to the front spot. 39 will lead that time by, but Likens takes over the top position on the left-hand side of your screen by 0.06 of a second and continues to pull away from the inside groove. Man, they fell apart down there in the bottom.
Yeah, it really did. It just kind of disintegrated. And now the outside just hauling away. John Fike, the last car in line, he's back in 5th. And he's trailing Richardson, Picklesheimer, Gilbert, and Likens as they all continue to put distance on the double file behind them. Likens leading this group in the middle lane. Travis Gilbert settling in just behind him. The outside lane gets connected with that lead pack once again. But yeah, the inside really fell apart here. And it does not even have as much support as the outside lane does. And now Grant Turner gets shuffled out of line. He's going to fall to the middle with no help. And this is the kind of running that middle lane that you don't want when you don't have anyone with you. You just try to side draft and pray you're going to find a gap somewhere. Turner slides in behind Michael Call, but he slid all the way down the 17th. He was the first car on that inside lane just a moment ago.
Call in the 89 just in front of the 39. The 39's all the way back to 19th. He was just up front. He was in the lead a lap ago.
And this is the dangers of super speedway racing. When you fall somewhere you shouldn't be and you don't have any help going with you, it is so quick to have things fall apart. And Grant Turner knows that. He won the Clash this year. He understands what it's like trying to win here at a super speedway. But up front, the man on the point is Al Likens, and that Napa number 13 leading his first couple laps of the day. Oh, Kyle Diaz sideways.
Caution is out. He keeps it off the wall. One car around on the backstretch.
Might have just been a single car spin there off of 2. Didn't see anyone else really get collected in it. But it was enough to trigger the yellow. And we are under the caution flag for the 4th time today, the 3rd under naturally occurring circumstances.
It's Kyle Stewart on the back bumper there. I'm not sure if the 26, I would assume, had help here. Does he drop down in front a little late? Yes.
Yep, just enough. And Kyle Stewart is getting the nose just to that corner. Very, very similar to what we saw on that lap 24 caution. You know, coming off or going into or coming off of a corner. You just get a nose to that inside corner of the car, and it's so easy to get it off balance, especially when you're on that transition from straightaway to corner or corner to straightaway. And that's how Kyle Diaz has now found himself trying to get back up to speed.
So I want to throw it out there for anybody that wonders how sometimes you save these cars. Sometimes doing nothing is the answer.
And just a little bit of wheel once it started gripping the track again, but otherwise he just kind of let it coast. And that's the one nice thing about the backstretch of Talladega, is that there is a lot of room to slide before you make contact with that inside wall. It's not a place like Dover or New Hampshire where there's no room, and the moment you lose it, you're just in there. Talladega does you a long runoff. That was to the benefit of Kyle Diaz there. Everyone going to make their way down pit road. 10 laps, about enough time to come down, try to top off on fuel. Should potentially get them a good bit closer to the end of this thing. Would not be enough to make it to the end on this stop, though, not by a mile. As you see, Travis Gilbert going to win the race off pit road ahead of Al Likens.
And there's your race off of pit road, and that was close. Actually, Likens won that somehow.
Well, color me confused, because the 22 certainly looked like he was ahead of him, but I don't know where the 22 ended up. Unless I'm just completely drawing a blank somewhere.
Well, let's look at this again. Maybe a speeding penalty. Yeah, I mean, that's by a mile.
I don't entirely know, because the next time we cut to the 13, the 22 was not there. And he is nowhere in that top group, unless he made his way back down pit road for whatever reason.
Looks like the 22 is, you got me. You got me.
Yeah. Tell you what, this is a bit of a mystery, because it did seem like Travis Gilbert won the race off pit road, but he is either by choice or has been voluntold to drop toward the tail end of the field. Don't know exactly the circumstances of, but he'll be back there along with the 9 of Jeremy Burns and the 26 of Kyle Diaz. And Grant Thorpe as well. I mean, Michael Reed, there's some really, really fast cars stuck at the tail end of the field right now.
Well, we're going to get the one to go signal, but we are going to take a chance here on V-Speed. We got to pay some bills, and I know that everybody here loves the coverage, but we're going to take a quick break for our sponsors here for Racing Revolution. More coverage continues of stage number 2 from lap 48, I believe, and we'll go back green. You are watching Chapman Environmental Cup Service. Yeah, we got it. Chapman Environmental in the Cup Series right after this.
Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. It's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
Back here live for Chapman Cup Series. I think I said that about 100 times while we were at the break to make sure I got it right. 13 of Likens. Back to the top spot, John Fike. Man, I tell you what, Fike is hungry for a win, and you put this guy on the pole, look at him go.
Yeah. I mean, he continues to impress here in the early going tonight at Talladega, back up into that second place. Once again, he's on the back bumper of Al Likens, and you can see it there at the bottom of your screen. He's led 26 of 48 laps here tonight. Looking to maybe take another one here if he finds his way around the 13. But right now, though, going to settle into that P2 spot is Matt Robinson going to bring that inside group level with that third place car of Picklesheimer. Robinson's got Caleb Gilbert trying to help him out, but the outside line really starting to come in on its own here in the second half of this race. It is looking to be the preferred groove at the moment.
Outside holds on, and it's about 3 cars with Picklesheimer. Remember, Picklesheimer got involved in some incidents there earlier in this race. In stage 1, it wasn't how he predicted it to go. He had Joe Joya across the nose, and I think it was Joe Joya in the 7. Just a bad push, came down, now setting back up. It's amazing to me how many drivers have been involved in something here tonight, and they're still up in the top 10.
Yeah, really, that has been absolutely fascinating to see. I mean, some of the names there, guys like Dylan Picklesheimer, who's been a part of the stuff. Tyler Harrison, I think, has gotten caught up in a little bit of something. Dakota Floyd running in the top 20 despite his damage. I mean, he's had some as well. It's been pretty wild. Sirkovich, another one of those names who's currently running just outside the top 20 with a lot of damage that he picked up earlier on. But right now, everyone's trying to track down Al Likens. still holds on that middle lane. He's looking in control right now on the outside line. Here comes Chris Nail, though, to the inside. The 88 trying to take a piece of that action. Some aggressive side drafting from the high side. Boy, they almost just came right on down there. But wow, that side draft really killed the momentum of the inside.
I think he got it, just barely.
Yeah, that he did. But
go through 1 and 2.
Certainly cost him there as far as the side draft was concerned. I mean, they really just cut the momentum down.
So the 88 and the 13 side by side for that top spot, and you go through this traffic jam of 2x2 all the way back here to, I believe that's the 55 of Justin Ritchie. You got a few cars off the tail end of this that I think are a little bit gun shy. Alex, all the action we saw in the first stage of this race, it's kind of dialed back a little bit. We had a single car spin there just a moment ago with the 26th of Diaz. But now I say that, look at him go. 3 wide, around the 10th position.
Yeah, just that's the thing. Just when it seems like they start to settle it out a little bit, things just pick right back up where they left off. And now that outside line has put together a lot of momentum. They are getting way, way up there. Everyone right now trying to track with Michael Call. Call's gotten as high up as 7th here. He's about in line with 3rd in that middle lane. Will they be able to pull up with the leaders, though? That's the question. Joe Gioia, another car who had issues early, capitalizing on this track position. He's doing a great job getting himself back into the top 10 here.
Super Speedway Racing here for week number 9. Anybody could get it done. We've got a car down on the apron. That's Burns a lap down. Not a good night for the 9 car.
Yeah, he's had his fair share of struggles here tonight. You see he peels back off the racetrack again. The field gonna roll on by 3 wide. Smart decision there for Jeremy. Let everyone roll on by so he doesn't get run over, because there was nowhere for him to settle in and not be caught up with one of those lanes of traffic. It is going to cost him, though, an opportunity to try to jump in with the draft. He's the only car a lap down, so if a yellow, he would be the free pass car, but certainly not the way his night was expected to be going, I'm sure, for a lot of the folks out there watching.
Still 3 wide for the top spot. Chris Nail on the bottom has it right now. Michael Call trying to take it away. Likens falls back with the 65 of Fike. And a car sideways. I don't think that was voluntary. 7 drops down. Big move there by Call as well.
A big-time elevator move from Michael Call, going from high to low. His thing to 3 wide of out. Cars are bouncing off each other. Business is picked up here. It's going to be 40 laps to go this time around. You wouldn't think it, though, with the way these guys are racing right now. You'd think it'd be 4 to go, because they are letting it all hang out, all to the benefit right now of Chris Nail, as he continues to put some space between him and the jaws of the field here.
I was saying, I don't think I like him pulling out that far ahead of Matthew Robinson. Robinson's going to give that Mustang Dark Horse a flatter nose and give him a push down the backstretch, but that broke the momentum of the inside. I think we're going to see a surge here with Kevin Orlando in the 27.
Yeah, and here comes Orlando up to the high side. Michael Call trying to lead that middle group, not finding the success he's looking for, though. Orlando with a ton of momentum all the way up toward the wall through the tri-oval. A much longer way around this racetrack. Travis Gilbert dives to the inside. So does Dakota Floyd. And at the line, I mean, Chris Nail still has the lead, but Kevin Orlando Jr. is there here on lap 56.
How about Dakota Floyd putting his car back up in the top 5? The comers and goers of this race. Chris Nail up 20 positions. The 27 of Orlando up 11. So many drivers in this top 10 have not started here. We got 22 gain for Michael Bennett. Remember, in the first stage. The 14 was struggling.
Certainly was, and now here he is trying to push Dakota Floyd. He's just outside the top 10. He's looking for more. The 57, though, might be looking to bail. Tried getting down. Here comes Kyle Diaz. Kyle Diaz restarted this thing at the tail end of the field. He's all the way up to just outside the top 10. And we haven't been racing for all that long. Just all this three-wide action causing cars to gain and lose positions like crazy, and Diaz is capitalizing in a big way.
Move there on the outside from Dakota Floyd as you're riding on board with Diaz, who gets into the back and has a car hit him in the back. That was Joe Choya.
And that really accordioned that middle lane. You see a pretty big gap, about 2-3 car lengths between the two of them. Is up front, Kevin Orlando, Jackson McGeorge going for a nice Wednesday evening stroll. Not a care in the world, 7/10 ahead of the field, yeah. When they start getting back up there, though, that speed differential, I think, is going to be a little insane. I'd be a little scared if I were these two with the gap they've formed. It's 0.8 of a second now, but with the field behind them 3 wide, it's going to take a second for them to rally on back. But here comes Michael Call, and you see just how fast he's closing in.
Speaking of rally on back, there's the 45 of Tyler Harrison. We have the Rally Daddy Twisted T camera. Now we need a camera for Advent. I think just a matter of time before we get that.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree. We jump on board here with Tyler Harrison trying to run the apron. No room for error up ahead of him. Things 3 wide. This is rush hour traffic at 200 miles an hour. Just keep your head down and go. As you see, they just roar on past the line. But now, the leaders have been caught up to. And they have, I think, a little bit of, might be some lap traffic ahead of them. Dakota Floyd got shuffled out at some point. And now Chris Nail and company going to try to pass him. Or no, sorry, that actually, he's not even, that's just the second back.
Yeah.
They've fallen that far back. Apologies. I thought that was the lead group. Kevin Orlando Jr. just setting sail from these guys.
Yeah, 7 cars break away from the rest of this pack, and Dakota Floyd leading it on the bottom right now. The 66 of Carter Lenz, the 88 of Chris Nail pushing the 57. They got to get back to work while they were all fighting amongst themselves. Those 2 cars we were talking about earlier with the closing speed, they've kept it up here. Somehow, Kevin Orlando and Jackson McGeorge have kept these 2 cars 1 and 2.
Truly, it's honestly incredible that they didn't get just completely swallowed up by the rest of the field. But with how far that main pack has fallen off, maybe that's part of what's done it. You see, this 7-car breakaway is about a second clear of the rest of the field. Kevin Orlando Jr. all the way back to Brandon Richardson. And at this point, if you're in this 7-car breakaway, you kind of just think about staying single file, trying to keep that gap until you have to come down pit road for fuel. But now, as the main group getting tethered in, look at the closing speed.
Oh, he lifted. I thought he was going to go.
Man, he could have just roared past about 4 or 5 of them. He had some help from Picklesheimer behind, but instead elects to jump in line. Safer option there for Dakota Floyd. He'll be running in the 8th position. And now Robinson bringing this strung out main pack to connect back with the leaders. So that brief respite for Kevin Orlando and Jackson McGeorge has come to a close. The field stacked back up again, although this time much more single file, which will make it much more easy to manage up at the point. And just as I say that, a 3 car is going to jump to the outside here, just outside the top 5.
I got to ask you here, Alex, do you notice something missing from tonight?
You know, you could say that about a couple of things, but I think one thing we absolutely should be doing is maybe, Michael Call, nice little move to take the block there. Well, I tell you what, that's a guy who's not been afraid to throw an aggressive block here tonight. Is the 89 of Michael Call, and he has been up and down this racetrack, cutting off momentum left and right, and he's going to use that to take the lead maybe down on the backstretch.
Well, the answer was the 4 time. Rob Rader not out on the racetrack here tonight.
See, that was a different answer than what I was going to say. I was going to say it might be a prime opportunity for us to try to crank it up a little bit here, really let these things roar full speed. But maybe not. Yeah, I mean, I've seen a couple cars coming down pit road, so maybe we take a second here to see what's going on there. 4 takers, Michael Bennett, Caleb Gilbert for Jet and Alves.
Bennett, first one into his stall, 24 the next one. There's the 54, down and away for the 14. It's going to be a top off with fuel, and this should get these drivers to the end of this race. This is going to be mighty close, but I don't think they would have peeled it down pit road if it wasn't ready to go.
Yes, there are 4 of them going to do so, and you see a lot of cars that looks like maybe trying to work their way to the bottom. I wonder if there's going to be some more takers this time around. It doesn't look like it. So we will continue the forge on.
31 laps left here from week number 9. The Aloe Barbershop 235. Chapman Environmental Cup Series. And I think I got to go back to what started this whole... we have Coastal Financial with the Pole Award. We have the Coastal Financial Truck Series. I think that's what started the whole tongue twister for me, is just covering these guys week to week. We're deep into the season in the Truck Series, past the halfway point, actually. Looking at week number 9 here for Chapman, and I'll eventually get it right. Diaz pushes the back bumper of Brandon Richardson, who's going to lead his first laps of the day. 39 lurking in the background there. This breakaway of cars got caught back up. Green flag pit stops underway. You had Nick Alves and a few others follow down pit road. And the 14 of Bennett continues to cycle through here on lap 65. I think this is the window here for the rest of these cars to start pitting.
Yeah, they could probably go a couple more laps if they've absolutely needed to, but a lot of them decided, nope, this is the time. Dakota Floyd, Travis Gilbert, Chris Nail, Michael Call, Jackson McGeorge, a host of cars. Say about 15 in all coming down pit road.
You have to be careful there when you saw some of them coming in 3 wide into the entrance of pit road. Very easy to turn yourself across somebody's nose if you're on that outside. Down away for Michael Call. There's the 88 now of Chris Nail. 27 back out on the racetrack as well. 57, 77, all the 7s back out on the racetrack.
They're going to try to get up the speed, and this is the part where you really not only need to get up to speed in a hurry going through this part of the racetrack, you also need to get connected to each other in a hurry to make sure you have draft as much as the other cars. There's a ton of takers coming down pit road this time as well. I think that might be just about the rest of the field who's coming down and making their stop.
Yeah, Kyle Diaz leads him in from the top position. Al Likens just behind. This should do it for green flag pit stops. This will take us to the end of this event. Where does it all cycle out, though? Brandon Richardson is going to take over the top spot again. Beats the 26 of Diaz. That doesn't mean much. These guys that were deeper in this field thundering around. And caution is out.
Oh, that
Todd
puts
Fike.
a huge shuffle on things.
Fike's around. Your pole sitter, who has led the vast majority of the laps here today with 26 led, he gets spun and has some right front damage a little bit here, I think.
And this is going to put everyone in a really tricky position. We didn't have time to talk about it, but I do not believe that actually any of the cars who had come down pit road on this pit cycle had enough fuel to make it to the end of this thing. As you see, yeah, just Fike was trying to come back out on track, and that is a terrifying place to be as a driver.
Can we get an on board here? I know that he kind of turns himself across the nose of the 12. That's your stage winner, Justice Murphy. But watch this.
Boy, no worse feeling. You just lock it down and pray everybody sees you.
At the mercy of everyone being heads up.
But everyone did a good job to avoid him, make sure they didn't hit him. But this is what I was going to say, just if that caution had to come out, I was going to say that none of these drivers were going to be able to make it fuel-wise on that stop under green, even under extreme fuel-saving conditions.
But now...
However, it gets really interesting now. The estimated max window that some of the drivers were talking about is about 22 laps if it was aggressive fuel save. We're looking at about 26 at the moment, so it's still well outside the range. But if someone were to come down pit road now to top off, someone who may not have a ton of track position at the moment, you know, a couple more pace laps, you know, you tack in maybe one more opportunity to save some fuel deeper into this thing. Who knows what could happen? They're right on the precipice. I just don't know if they would be able to go the full distance.
If I'm 20th on back, I think I take my chances. I come down pit road, and I'm talking about, you know, Travis Gilbert, some of these guys that looks like they just got off of the pit. I think I bring it right back down.
May as well try to get that little extra drop of fuel in there. We'll see if anyone decides to go for it deeper into the field. Michael Call's thinking about it. Oh, okay.
Here we go.
Yeah, and everyone from Christopher Schaefer on back gonna pull the trigger on it. They're gonna come down pit road. They didn't have the track position anyway, so Picklesimer and Holloway also do the same from a little further up. And everyone gonna try to just get that little bit of extra fuel, try to do as much as they can to try to stretch this thing to the end of this race, should they have the ability to do so.
Well, it just got that much more interesting here from Talladega. More super speedway racing for week number 9 of the Chapman Cup right after this.
Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. You know, it's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel.
Back here live, iRacing.com, hosting this session for the Chapman Cup Series. Brandon Richardson was the command car, got out to a really good start, but here comes the 26 of Kyle Diaz on lap 71 to try to take away the lead.
They go roaring down the back straightaway here. You got Richardson up high. Kyle Diaz, who has run in every mathematical position possible here tonight, from 33rd up to 1st, is battling for the lead once again, leading that inside lane. And Forget is giving Richardson all he can ask for and more. Actually moved him up the hill, and now it's 3 wide for the lead down the front straightaway.
Alex Forget looking for his 3rd win this season. 14 of Michael Bennett steps out there just for a moment. It's getting dicey here in the top 3. Nobody wants to work with the 57 in the background. He's going to get shuffled out. Here comes the high noon 98 with some momentum. Big bump. We got
and just shoved him.
That's a wake up. We're going to the front.
Yeah, that was very much a I'm going to the front, and if you're in my way, you're going too. A huge shot to the back bumper there from McGeorge, and he's now worked that 3rd lane into existence as Michael Call is going to jump up in front of Dakota Floyd there. Get about 5, 6, 7 cars or so. Try to form that 3rd lane. Here goes Al Likens up to the high side. Going to try to make that happen as well. Looks like Michael Reed not fortunate enough to get on the train as Richardson did. Nail going to be there to pick up Reed in that middle lane, but Forget and Alves dialed in up at the front right now in the inside lane. They're looking pretty good. We're looking off the back bumper here of the Al Likens machine. Now McGeorge dicing to the middle. Let's try to make a move here. Floyd not quick enough to drop down in front of him.
Middle line hasn't gotten going for a minute here. It's been low and high around Talladega. A drop down for the 22. 57 goes with them. They leave the 89 a call. They're 4 wide through the trioval.
Oh, this doesn't look like it's going to end well. McGeorge doesn't have any help. Michael Call going to slide in there. They're 4 wide going to the corner. Gilbert and McGeorge into each other. Oh, and it's the big one.
Caution is out, and it could have been a lot bigger.
It was just kind of delayed. I think only about 5 or 6 cars actually went around, but about 15 cars made contact with somebody. I think a lot of them were just able to keep that thing pointed the right direction. I may have jumped the gun slightly on the big one, but when I saw that many cars hitting each other, I thought certainly these guys did a phenomenal job of making sure that didn't escalate any bigger than it was.
And for every broadcaster out there, every commentator of a race, I think I just got an eyebrow raise from my wife. All right, let's go back here and see what happened.
And it starts really on the tri-oval when everything gets sent 4 wide, but where things really come unglued is in the middle of 1 and 2. Travis Gilbert, Jackson McGeorge get into each other. McGeorge slides down. Murphy gets spun, shoots back up the track, and that's how Grant Turner, Joe Joya get collected. He's on the lower side, but he was far from the only people involved there. The only reason they get 4 wide was that checkup stacked up behind Dakota Floyd. And here they go, and just Travis Gilbert and Jackson McGeorge, yeah. Shot number 1, number 2 is the winner, though, as far as getting the 98 out of sorts. Michael Reed into the fence, collects Fike and Nail.
And I gotta know here,
2 big places that cars are going around.
how much wheel did Travis Gilbert put into this thing? I know it wasn't intentional, but you see him go. He's got 4 wide right here. We're on board. He's holding his line. And I think right there with the 5, maybe kind of spooked him and moving him up the racetrack. And then it's just chaos behind him.
Yeah. Nah, I'm inclined to agree with you. I mean, because those middle lanes were split 4 wide, there wasn't really any draft help. So when Sirkovich comes roaring in on the low side there, on the inside of turn 1, I could see how it would both surprise and potentially startle some of those cars in the middle lane a little bit. We're on board with Grant Turner, and just watch this thing devolve directly in front of him. Yeah, he gives a shot there to Grant Thorpe. He bounces off of Kevin Orlando and Joe Joya as well, before he ends up getting turned around, I believe, from the 98.
The damage repair here for Grant Turner, and a few others pop down pit road to maybe top off with fuel, and this puts him in the window here. Everyone had come in just prior to our replay. Kyle Diaz, Nick Alves, everyone on this field should be able to make it to the end of this race. Now it's a matter of positioning. It's not fuel strategy anymore. That's out the window.
Yeah, at this point, you know, you come down, you top off, you're good to go the rest of the way. Now it's just a matter about getting the track position, but it also is one of those situations where you know no one else has to come down pit road. So that means you just have to go out there and take the victory. You got to go out there and make something happen, though, on track, under green flag conditions. And that's where I think this is really going to come unglued. If we thought that there's been a lot happening here leading up to this moment in the first 76 laps, these last 18 or so are really, I think, going to dial up the aggression meter to maximum.
With Diaz, Alves, Richardson, Gilbert, and Harrison, the top 5. Good to see Tyler Harrison back up here in the top 10. Then you have Likens, Bennett, Floyd, Berube, and Robinson for that 10th spot. How many drivers have we seen come and go from these top 10 spots here tonight, Alex? And you got 23 gained here for Dakota Floyd, or actually Michael Bennett. Dakota Floyd is actually down 5 positions. Then you go back to your pole sitter in the 65 machine. He's just now getting some top off with fuel and probably 4 tires, maybe some damage repair. We'll see.
Yeah, he got caught up in that a little bit. He was caught up on the high side there with Chris Nail. I think the 65 going to try to get some of that front end damage repaired. Looks like it's maybe been buffed out a little bit. We know he's fast, but I don't know if we've seen him get stuck this far in the field at any point tonight. So he has his work cut out for him, trying to get up to the front once again. It's also worth noting those cautions here. The one just after the green flag pit cycle, and then this one has cycled Jeremy Burns back to the lead lap. He was a lap down earlier. Now he's scored in the 25th position. Has not really been a factor here tonight, but the points leader right now, at least back in contention. All 33 cars still credited as on track and on the lead lap this evening.
I had to give Ruth Ann what she wanted there. Sorry about that.
All good, all good. Taking a look here at the 98 machine.
And this is on board with the 9 of Jeremy Burns, so I 2 birds, you know?
Yeah. We're covering all stories, all elements here tonight. We are nothing in the V-Speed booth if not attempting to be accommodating.
Yes, that's what we aim to please here. 26 of Diaz, 24 of Alves for the front row on this restart. It's going to be under 20 to go from Talladega. Stage 1 winner, Justice Murphy. 24 lead changes, 6 cautions. One of those for the stage break. Green flag back underway. And a space out in front of the 8 of Richardson. And a move up to the 26 of Diaz.
And then Alves said, yeah, no, he immediately ignored that. Diaz said, well, no one went with me in my lane. I'll jump up high. And Alves said, yeah, no, you're not. And he's going to take Caleb Gilbert and company to the point here. Nick Alves to the front. Oh, Trevor Keith gets shuffled down below the apron. He's now 3 wide with McGeorge and Justin Ritchie. The 15, another one of those drivers who just haven't had the pace here tonight.
Let's say 3 wide, that's all right. But when we go 4 wide, we've seen how that results.
Yeah.
There's 3 lanes here at Talladega. Now, I tell you, Daytona, 3 wide, that's being brave.
Now up at the front, here comes Dakota Floyd with a run and a half from Tyler Harrison. He is roaring toward the front, that beaten up number 57 machine, door to door with Nick Alves down the back straightaway. He's got a lot of help in that high lane right now. And now that third lane starting to form up just a little bit once again, far back in the field though. Looks like, I think that is
Parker Johnston, I believe. No, that's 41, actually.
Oh, Trevor Erhardt jumping up there. The 41 trying to lead that third lane here. Progress slow but steady as we are 2 file all the way back to about the top 20. And then it jumps to 3 wide. Parker Johnston giving a nice push here to Trevor Erhardt in that third lane.
We're going to see some other takers just in front of him there. 89 of Michael Call, the 77 of Grant Thorpe. They see this momentum coming. The 23 as well into this mix of Schaefer. And a late call here from the 35 of Picklesheimer. Almost contact. I think a car just went sideways in the background there.
Yeah, I think someone got out of sorts. A lot of that, I think, started, though. Picklesheimer went up to block the 89, take that spot away. Diaz filled the hole Picklesheimer left. I don't know if the 35 realized it, though, because he came back down right toward where the 26 was running. And it could have been really bad as Picklesheimer gets put into the fence from Michael Call. The 89 gave him a push that the 35 I don't think was ready for, and just muscles his way past him. Man, Michael Call, that is someone driving with some conviction here tonight. For better or for worse, he has been making some of the most aggressive moves, offensively or defensively, on the racetrack.
This is the big one. This is the one.
Oh, Dakota Floyd wipes out half the field with Alex Forget as well. Oh, man, and Floyd was running up at the front. He was up in that lead pack in the top 5. Oh, man, it's a junkyard out there.
Yeah, this is the one. Can't get it going.
He can get going, yeah.
He's trying.
It's working with very minimal effect. But I think he's just going to have to get that thing towed back to pit lane. Huge incident here on lap 81. Take a look at what happened. We'll jump up with Dakota Floyd. He was leading the inside lane as they made their way down the back straightaway. Huge move. The top 4 cars from the outside all drop down.
Check up there on the inside.
A checkup with a push happening simultaneously is always going to be one of those situations. Man, that was big. We'll jump on board here with Nick Alves. It was one half of the contributing factors in how this one came up. He was pushing Dakota Floyd as that front lane checked up in front of him.
Now, this doesn't do it justice, and I want to say, you look on board here. Let's go with the gyro camera and give a proper view of what Nick Alves is actually seeing. He has no clue that the inside clogged up here. The outside drops down. All he knows is that Dakota Floyd has nothing in front of him. And then suddenly, right there.
Yeah. Then you look in the mirror and you just see everyone start spinning behind him. Forget's a part of that. Floyd. You see Justin Ritchie, Christopher Schaefer, Travis Gilbert trying to get down and around. Jump on board here with Forget. And yeah, he just gets tagged by Michael Reed.
Reed got destroyed. Parker Johnston in 48. Wow.
Yeah, he got a massive shot there from the 48 as everything washed up the track. Take one more look at it here on board with Johnston. Trying to get high, trying to get up and around this, and just, nowhere to go. He thought he was going to make it until the 91 was up in the wall right in front of him. Completely crumples the nose on that 48 machine.
83 on a 94, and Tyler Harrison has found his way to the front. We haven't pulled anyone up here. I know we've been slacking a little bit with the caution interviews here tonight. Just want to let everybody know, though, I have 21 pounds of pork shoulder on a smoker right now, which is why I'm just going to admit it here, Alex. I got to let everyone know. So that's why I've been taking these long breaks here tonight. I apologize for that. But there's a baseball game tomorrow, and if the weather cooperates, that's where I'll be working the concession stand. So that's where my mind is right now. It's probably why I can't say the title sponsors, and I apologize to everybody. This might be the first time that I've ever been in this situation, Alex.
Maybe. That being said, I think the best way to rectify this is we got to get all the folks here in the chat to let us know where we need to start airdropping some pork shoulder to.
Yeah.
Man, does that sound tasty. That is going to be one delicious baseball game tomorrow.
It's only been on there for 7 hours. Still got to wrap it in foil, so.
Well, this is the Aloe Barbershop 235. If you've been joining us late, Racing Rev, the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series. Next time by, will be 10 laps to go, and it's been Talladega. It's been fast. It's been chaotic, and it is getting more and more. What's the word I'm looking for here? More and more torn up as this one has been going along.
We got Shannon in the chat right now, telling us where to send that pulled pork, I believe. Family is first. Well, Terry, I appreciate that. I think that's Terry Hudgens. It's actually Vin Diesel in the chat just now.
Family over everything, baby.
Off the back of Tyler Harrison as we get doubled back up for this restart. Terry,
I'll tell you what. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I had a camera for Terry.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
just
we're just
antagonizing the crowd now.
We're just throwing this one out the window at this point.
I'll tell you what, I was going to say, speaking of family, this is the time where you got to figure out who your closest friends and family are out on the racetrack. Got to figure out who's going to be working with who. Because you do not have a lot of time left in this race, especially if you're stuck at the tail end of the field. You got to make a move. You got to make it in a hurry. And because of the nature of super speedway racing, you can't make it alone. So got to imagine a lot of these guys are talking to their teammates right now or getting on the comms with some of the other drivers in the field, trying to figure out what they need to do to get to the front of the field. So we'll jump on board here with the pole sitter, John Fike, for just a moment.
That was the example.
He's getting there, but he still has a long way to go. He got from 30th to 17th that last run. There was about half the field to clear. if he's going to get back up to the front where he spent so much of today. As the green flag is back in the air, we've got 10 laps to go here from Talladega.
Tyler Harrison's going to be the command car on that restart, but the 14 of Bennett, a much better restart. He has the 4 of Bresnak. We haven't mentioned that name in a minute. Bresnak was up front to start at this race and now finds himself on the outside line with a real opportunity to push Bennett to the front.
Here we go. The 14 and the 4 getting linked up just behind the Candyman of Daniel Holloway. Bresnak going to drop down to the inside. He'll lead that lane. He's a little disconnected, though, from Diaz. Will fall back just a little bit. Oh, Bresnak going through the grass. He is just tearing up the infield, tearing up the underbody of the car, and will launch back onto the racetrack after losing about 30 positions. Fantastic car control to not lose it. I mean, he had to work that thing. Yeah. That is one fast lawnmower.
That tore everything out from underneath that car. We got to get one more go at it here with Bresnak. It's a bad push here from the 26. Hits him down to the inside. He saves it. Fantastic drive, though. Bresnak holds on.
Might get linked up with TK, and they might be able to help each other maintain a little bit more pace here in the closing laps. More laps ticking away here up at the front. Tyler Harrison is leading the charge, this single file line, about 7-8 cars deep. And look who's worked his way back to the top 10. The pole sitter, John Fike, is back up to 8th. He restarted in 17th. That 65's on a mission right now, as is the stage winner, Justice Murphy, who's going to take a look to the inside here. Didn't even need anyone to go with him.
Another thing I'm watching here is a guy that's been really quiet tonight. Right on board with him right here as you see a dive to the inside. I think that was the 54 of Caleb Gilbert. But we're riding on board. I haven't had an opportunity yet tonight for all those Jeremy Burns fans. He's back on the lead lap, running in 15th.
That's about as high as he's run all evening long. See, settling in here on the outside lane. Just behind Carter Linz, another driver who typically we see a lot up toward the front, but haven't talked about a ton here tonight, and that is the nature of super speedway racing. You get a lot of comers and goers. And sometimes you just don't talk about the same folks you normally would. Is Robinson going to dive to the inside, going to leave the 45 out to dry a little bit. And here goes Matt Robinson to the inside. He's door-to-door with Harrison off of turn 4, and they'll be coming through the tri-oval. And it is getting 3 wide from Linz down to Fike, down to Alves here. It is getting wild from about 6th on back.
Weird push there on the outside. The 13 of Likens jumped up in front of the 66 as they go into 1 and 2, back down to the inside. I think the 13 thought there was more momentum there on that outside, or maybe just keeping him at bay. Nonetheless, the 45 and the 11 still going at it for the top spot.
More cars swapping lanes at the back of the field, but up front, Matt Robinson in control. He's got Michael Bennett giving him a really good push to the inside right now. Harrison, some aggressive side drafting. Holloway trying to close that gap back up to the 45. This time by, it's going to be 5 laps to go as Harrison gets a great shove in that middle lane, and he's got a nose in front of the competition as it is a true 3-wide battle for the lead as Carter Linz is involved now.
3 wide again here. We haven't seen a lot of 3 wide this season, so the action continues. 11 backs up on the inside. He's going to get a good run out of turn 2 and get back to the door, but he gets a little push there that he didn't want. The 14 of Bennett a little early on that. 45 drops down. Harrison going to try to get help from the 11, and a big move down to the bottom. 23's around.
It didn't work. Schaefer tried getting down there. It didn't work. Harrison, Travis Gilbert, and more all torn up. Oh my goodness. That is a huge wreck at the closing stages, and that's just the nature of Talladega. One false move, and that's all she wrote. Take a look at this. Christopher Schaefer had quite a run going on the high side. Gets going there with Burns, Linz, and Forget, and then tried dropping down just a split second too late to go with him.
He could have done the second
Harrison
lane.
was there.
He got the middle clear, but not the bottom.
And that was all the difference between running in the 4th position and ending up in the fence. And just washes up a lot of fast cars torn up there. Orlando, Fike, McGeorge.
I think McGeorge
Grant
got away
Turner
with
in
it.
there. Yeah, he got spun, but I don't think he got any significant damage, maybe. Take a look here with the 98. A little bit of wall contact. A little bit there with Richardson. Richardson's in the wall. Yeah, no, it doesn't look like he made contact there with Orlando. That would have been the really big bit. Travis Gilbert going through a ride as well. To jump on board 27.
This happens so fast here at Talladega. It's impossible. I mean, you could blink, sneeze, whatever.
And that is going to set us up for, I believe, a natural green-white checkered, potentially. No, lights are still on the pace car, which means I do think they would have us using our one attempt at a green flag checkered in just a moment. When that officially gets marked, we will let you know how that'll work. But that, I mean, the lead group now looks entirely different from what it did the lap before that caution came out. I mean, Linz, Burns, and Forget were all marred basically from 10th on back. And we were talking, you know, Tyler Harrison, Matt Robinson, some of these guys. And Robinson's still in the top 10, as is Daniel Holloway, Chris Nail, and Al Likens. But a new trio has emerged at the front. And these are some names that over the course of the season we've seen quite a bit of. But tonight, this is really the first time we're seeing any of them.
Yeah, Linz, Burns. Forget did get up front there for a moment, but it's been quiet. He did get a lap led. He got 3 of them, actually, to be precise. But Carter Linz...
He also got caught up in that that first bigger incident, so he's had to work back from some of that.
The only one in this top 3 is actually Burns, and he's been quiet all night long. We'll set up for that natural green-white, or well, actually a first of our green-white checkered attempts here tonight at Talladega. And for those of you that don't know how this works, we will take our 3 to go signal. Drivers will come around, take the green flag with 2 laps to go. If they make it back to that white flag, the race will be official. If they have a caution before they reach that, we will rack them back up and have one more attempt here tonight. Chat is looking alive. Carlo, operator, there he is. Not on the racetrack tonight, but living through the chat, vicariously watching this league. And I'd like to thank Rob Rader for all he does here at Racing Revolution, putting this thing together. We're back double file here. Alex, I gotta say, it's not been kind to these shootout style hand-me-down, you know, put you in a position to win this race. Everyone from probably 5th on back feels like they have a real chance at it.
And that is the most dangerous thing, is the hope that everyone's got a crack at it here, especially knowing that if a caution comes out, there would be one more green-white checkered attempt potentially. And that really is what I think is going to make some really aggressive moves here for those folks deeper in the field. Everyone's going to be pushing. No one's going to be lifting. And I have a feeling that it is going to get wild up here. It'll be Burns on the inside, Carter Linz on the outside for Jet and Holloway in row 2. Everyone's got their dancing partners now from the juice cone. And all that's left will be to put the hammer down and try to survive the final couple laps here at Talladega.
What could be the final restart of the night? As the iRacing pace car comes out of 3 and 4, the peel off to the left-hand side. Burns somehow, after being a lap down at one point in this race, has found his way back to the top of the field. Lynn's on the high line. Don't count out Daniel Holloway. And if you had to make a pick of the drivers, realistically, I'm going to go with Al Likens in the 13. I think he's been kind of quiet here tonight, but he's been experimenting with these runs. I'm going with the 13 to win this race.
It's a bold pick, but I like it. One of the eyes I'm keeping an eye on here potentially is that 88, third on the inside there, Chris Nail. Been wicked fast the back half of this race. We just haven't talked about him a ton. But here we go, green flag back in the air. Linz and Burns going to take him down in the turn 1. The 66 with a fantastic launch. And now the 21 going to look to the high side here with help from Robinson.
But do you want a fantastic launch? Jeremy Burns is going to give him a shot here into 1 and 2 off the exit down the backstretch. It's side by side for that top spot. Linz holds on to it. He's going to get another shot.
Burns beating at the back bumper of Carter Linz, but here comes Holloway on the outside. Robinson giving him a push. Burns shuffled down to the apron.
Big crash.
Massive wreck. Forget terrifyingly fast into the outside wall. Caution's out, and we will have to go to our second and final green-white checkered attempt here tonight. Violent crash for Alex Forget-Berube.
19 still trying to pick up the pieces.
That car faced every cardinal direction, I think about 4 or 5 times. Look at how fast his car goes ricocheting into the outside wall. Just kept getting spun like a top. Everyone kept hitting him in that right rear as he was rotating and just picked up the pace exponentially.
How many times you want to count here? You want to count it out loud?
I'll certainly try. Let's see here. It gets up. There's the first. Second. Rotates it around for a third. Off of Joe Joyce. Spins it around off of Gilbert for a 4th time. It comes back down around for turn number 5. Gonna loop it around one more time. Make it number 6 as he points up toward the fence. Yeah. I think the craziest part of that is turns 2, 3, and 4 happened in about a second. The G-forces inside the virtual cockpit can't even begin to describe.
This is right at that green flag for the green-white checkered. So the big launch there from the 66. Now down the backstretch on board with Justice Murphy, your stage winner. And it all falls apart right about here.
Oh, yeah. And you can see Project continuing the spin back there. Orlando in the wall. I think Caleb Gilbert's part of that. Man, big wreck. And once again, now the top 10 on this final green-white checkered looks completely different than it did just a moment ago. Holloway, Robinson, Linz, Justin Ritchie up there now. And now at the back end of the top 10, we're talking about folks like Dakota Floyd again, like Christian Bresnock, Trevor Erhardt, folks that were up there, fell back not all that long ago, and now have shuffled back into the mix.
We still have a moment here on V-Speed. I think when we go to this green-white checkered attempt, it's time to take a quick commercial break. You are watching the Chapman Cup Series. Uninterrupted coverage from here on out, I promise. More after this.
Chapman's been around for 32, 32, almost 33 years. You know, it's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
Let's do this thing.
Back here live, and I think I just picked it up there. Alex, I think he just said, let's do this thing. Well, we're going to do it for the final green-white checkered attempt here from Talladega. Week number 9, side by side with Daniel Holloway and Matt Robinson, Carter Lynch, Justin Ritchie. Justin Ritchie in the 55. He's been outside the top 10 most of this night, and the Cheetos 55 has a real shot at getting his first win in the Chapman Cup Series.
Yeah, it's all on the line here, and anything could happen. I am on my feet. I have a feeling I'm not the only one as well. It's all going to come down to this, a 2-lap shootout. If it stays green, it'll be the next flag to end the race here, checkered or yellow. Robinson and Holloway, the control cars inside and outside respectively.
But here we go. One more time, we're going to attempt a restart from Talladega. Green flag is out. We're back underway. 2 to go.
Nice push there from Justin Ritchie. Gives the 21 a bit of momentum into the corner. The top 6 all get filed in nicely here. Going through turns 1 and 2. Robinson a half car length advantage as they make their way off of 2, but definitely not full separation yet as everyone fans out behind them.
Jackson McGeorge down on the apron. He's going to drop back. Daniel Holloway, though, has a breakaway. 55 of Ritchie drops down sideways for the 4.
Oh, Press knocks
and
around.
That's going to call it.
Caution is out, and that was the final green-white checkered attempt, which should mean that coming to the line here, your winner tonight will be the Candyman. Daniel Holloway is going to survive a wild one to win at Talladega.
Well, I guess we'll throw it up on the screen.
There it is.
Presented by Erhardt Homes, and it's one more time around for Daniel Holloway. We almost got to that point. He's got to make it official. Daniel Holloway in the 21, the 55 of Justin Ritchie, the 11 of Matt Robinson. I think this justifies maybe going back on an instant replay.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take one more look at it here, and yeah, it was just getting 4 wide in there. Travis Gilbert, Christian Bresnock stuck in the middle of it, and boy, was that A violent crash for a number of cars there. Dakota Floyd spins around a number of times. Taking one more look at it here, and it's just a matter of the 4 tries going with the 9, just the 22 and 26 come up, and that's all she wrote. Murphy, Diaz, Floyd, Picklesheimer, all of them caught up in that one. Daniel Holloway going to be credited as tonight's winner as they'll come to the line. There is your running order. Holloway, Ritchie, Robinson, Burns, and Linz, your top 5. Rest of the top 10 there on your screen from the time of the yellow flag being thrown. And that is, I believe, win number 1 on the season for Holloway.
Congratulations to the 21. Sorry it didn't sound as exciting as we typically do here as you cross the start-finish line, but congratulations, Daniel Holloway, on this victory. I know that you go through this top 10 and there's everybody in the top 5 with the exception, Linz even gained positions. It was 17 gain for Ritchie. Oh, it was all over the place.
It absolutely was. I mean, some of these guys were going back to front to back to front. They were doing laps within the laps of the race here. I mean, they were just going forward and back, and ultimately in this war of attrition, it's Holloway getting it done.
There's a black flag here that I gotta address. We have for the 21 car, yeah. And scoring right now is confused. So Daniel Holloway on our final race results will not be correct. I think it might have something to do with the choose cone. We'll have to go back and sort this all out. Rob Rader, you are in the chat if we get an official word, but I want to say that Daniel Holloway wins this anyway. But I've got a lot of black flags for passing under the yellow because of that choose cone. Maybe didn't get the clear just in time before that caution came out, and we'll have to go back and sort this all out. Might have a restart violation actually for Rob Rader in the chat.
Well, if that's the case, this finish is under review, and this could have major implications if the 21 jump the start. That would change a lot.
That might put it here.
Yeah, that would then make it Justin Ritchie if
who
that's
just blew
case.
it up.
Well, this has certainly been an interesting past couple minutes as we're working to get to the bottom of this one.
I have no clue what to say other than okay, we're gonna take a commercial break. I can't interview until I have official word on anything. So that's what we're gonna do here on V Speed. I usually pull up the race winner immediately, but until we have an official word from everyone here at Racing Revolution and get this all sorted out, whether there was a restart violation, whatever the case may be, we might have to go back and review it. You are watching the Chapman Cup Series here on V-Speed.
Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. It's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
Well, we have an official word here on a restart violation for the number 21 of Daniel Holloway. Watch here, just at the restart zone, he jumps too early and gets a black flag. Watch here, he's going to pull away from the 55. By a foot.
Yeah, it's just early enough to give him that, quote, unfair competitive advantage. So, hey there, Justice. We are live in the booth.
Sorry about that. The Justin Ritchie is the winner. 21 jumped the last restart.
So we have official word from the admins here. Justice Murphy up in the booth. Thank you for that. And we're trying to get a different camera angle of this, but yeah, it's official. It was a restart violation, just a little bit too fast. And if you go onto the iRacing service, there is a speed counter that clocks your speed until you get to this restart zone. And right here, you're going to see the 21 jump out ahead. And even if it's by a mile per hour, if you don't maintain that pace speed until you get to that restart zone and all four tires cross over into that Geico blue zone there, drivers are going to get black flagged. And that's what happened to Daniel Holloway. He jumped the start and he drove around the entire racetrack for 2 laps with that black flag to get this win, and then have it taken away by iRacing official black flag, not the race stewards. There's no bias here. It was just a case of jumping and violating the restart rules that are embedded in iRacing.
And that's a devastating break here for Holloway, as he had, I mean, honestly, he had established good position there on the restart, but that might have been part of the reason why was he was able to get on the throttle just a little too early to drop down in front of the field. And well, that does certainly put a damper on things, but it does not change the fact that the winner this year, it'll be their first win of the season there, Bradley.
I mean, I don't put an asterisk on it. That was a driver's mistake, and Justin Ritchie got the win here tonight. And put those final results up on the screen. Your stage winner, Justice Murphy, in the number 12. It was 31 lead changes. That's like almost, a third of the laps we had here tonight, Alex. Yeah. We had a lead change every other moment we looked up front. But Ritchie gets the win. We had a lead change after the finish. How about that?
How about that, indeed?
So that's going to go to Matt Robinson, Jeremy Burns, the top 3. We'll get a word with Justin Ritchie, Matt Robinson, and Jeremy Burns in just a moment. Carter Lenz getting 4th position. Chris Nail, top 5. 88 car, how about that for him? Al Likens, my pick here tonight. Thought he was going to get up there. Ran out of laps to do it. 6th position for him. Michael Call will finish in 7th. 8th spot goes to Christian Bresnock, who got turned. I believe the 4 car was sideways on that first green-white checkered. He somehow salvages the day to 8th. And Brandon Richardson in the 9th position. Tyler Harrison recovers his race to 10th.
Back in the 11th position here tonight, unofficially, it'll be Caleb Gilbert in the 54. Grant Turner going to be scored 12th. Christopher Schaefer 13th. Kyle Stewart going to be marked in the 14th position here tonight ahead of Trevor Keith, Dakota Floyd, and Daniel Holloway. With that restart violation, it will drop him from the lead down to 17th ahead of Trevor Erhardt, Grant Thorpe, and Kevin Orlando Jr.
Your pole sitter, John Fike, is going to finish in 21st spot. A disappointing day for him. He led a lot of laps here today. Michael Bennett will finish 22nd. Justice Murphy, your stage winner, finishing 23rd. Also had a black flag to finish this one out. Dylan Picklesheimer, 24th. Jackson McGeorge in 25th. Jacob Sirkovich, 26th. Joe Joya, 27th. Travis Gilbert. I mean, at this point, the final results versus the black flags, some things might be a little bit off. But then you have Travis Gilbert in the 22. He did get wrecked there on that final green-white checkered. Kyle Diaz, who had a real shot at it here tonight. We're just naming cars that were up front with 10 to go from here on out with Alex Forget, Nick Alves, Parker Johnston, and Michael Reed to round out this field. How quickly things can fall apart for you here at Talladega.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It was a moment's notice, and, the way this was going, I mean, Nick Alves was battling for the lead in that final couple of laps there, and ultimately will finish outside the top 30 just through the attrition of the way tonight went. Crazy stuff, but when it comes to Talladega, you expect nothing less.
Well, I think it's time to move trackside and get our race winner in victory lane. And Alex, I know you rehearsed this. I think it's time that we pull Justin Ritchie up here. You're down there in victory lane with the 55.
Hey there, Justin. You got a copy?
I do. What's going on, fellas?
Not too much. Well, I tell you what. We didn't, if you go back and watch this thing when it's all said and done, we won't have officially called you the winner for a couple minutes until after the race came to a close. We found out once this thing was done and dusted about the restart violation for the 21, and you were the next man up. So I got to ask you, I mean, you were kind of stuck in the middle of the field a good bit of the day until those green-white checkers where you're kind of able to get up into position. What was going through your mind on those two green-white checkered attempts, knowing that you finally had the track position to go out there and make something happen?
I was just going to push somebody until I blew up, to be honest. I was not expecting to win, and honestly, I just wanted a good finish. This has been a fairly rough season as far as results go for me, so I just wanted to capitalize on that track position that I had and just come home in a solid place. And I was content with pushing Holloway just to a win, because that would have been pretty cool to do. Unfortunate that he got hit with that penalty, because he was definitely in a prime position. But yeah, we'll take it. It's not one that I can be super proud of, because it's kind of on a technicality. But I'm not gonna decline it. That's for sure.
I got to ask you, when was the moment when you found out that you were actually named the winner of this race? Because it seemed, at least for up here in the booth for us, it took us a moment to learn about the black flag there for the 21. When did you learn that you were getting that spot moved up with the 21's black flag?
I think it was after we took the checkered on the exit of 2, somewhere around there. It was well after the racing had ended. They were talking about it, and there was just so many voices between my Discord and the race chat. I just had to say, I heard something about the penalty, and I was just like, wait, what? And then I found out that he got penalized. I don't know if it was like a end of lead lap. I guess it was something like that. But yeah, I mean, it was well after the adrenaline had left
I
my
can
body.
confirm for you, Justin, real quick. It was a restart violation. Went too early in the restart zone.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I was sitting there wanting to push him, and I thought he went pretty early, but I didn't think he was before the restart zone. So, yeah, that really sucks for him, dude. And raced around him a ton tonight, but he seemed to be pretty solid leading the lane. So, yeah, we'll take it. I mean, heck, far. It's one of the ways to win a race. I'll tell you that.
It is certainly one of the ways, and it wasn't even like a rain or that one Pocono fog delay. We ran all the laps and then some, and it's not through some weird thing with iRacing. If you go too early, that's on the driver, I guess. So, if nothing else, I know technically when the official checkered flag flew, you may not have been the first one to go across that line, but you will absolutely be credited as the winner here tonight. And Justin, I just got to ask you, first win on the season. Doesn't matter how it comes. How are you feeling knowing that you've put one up on the board here?
Yeah, it feels really good to not have that monkey on my back. I mean, I know it's only been 10 races, but I think any driver wants to get their first one out of the way. And now I'm hoping to not have a Kyle Busch-esque couple of seasons in front of me. So hopefully this isn't the only time you guys get to talk to me up here. But yeah, it's nice to get that one behind me.
Absolutely. Well, Justin, anyone you'd like to shout out here on the win here tonight, win number 1 on the season?
Yeah, massive shout out to my teammate. Unfortunately, Morgan couldn't be here with us, but it was Kyle, Dakota, and myself tonight, as well as all the OMT dudes. Kevin, Carter, I'm still learning names, Chris, Paul, and somebody else. Hold on, I've been looking at the list. And Joe, yeah. Because we were around them, we pit with them, and it's always nice to have some friendly faces at these super speedways. So big shout out to them. Big shout out to all the admins and management of the series, and big shout out to the broadcast. I know it's a ton of production work, and it is greatly appreciated by all of us drivers. And it's good, usually pretty good racing. So yeah.
It was certainly a fun one to watch out there tonight. Justin, thank you so much for joining us. Congrats on your first win here in the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series, and at least this season. And we'll hopefully talk soon.
Thank you. Yeah, hopefully.
All right, and that was your race winner here tonight, Justin Ritchie, driver of the number 55 machine, who gets it done, capitalizing on a restart zone violation from the 21.
I think he was just as confused as we were initially there. That he was, he's still, it hasn't sank in. He is a winner in the Chapman Cup Series, and that is a limited list of drivers right now, 9 weeks into the season, now going on week number 10. Congratulations to the 55. As we move on to our second place finisher, Matt Robinson. I've caught up with him down on pit road, and Matt, I got to say, it was a third place finish until it wasn't. You have any opinion on what happened there on that restart? And then, we can go into what your race was like tonight.
Yeah, it was Holloway is my teammate and counted down, and he was going to 80 as soon as he hit the start line. So he jumped automatically at a black flag. So I knew that. I didn't really know how to take that into play going to the white flag again. But I kind of knew wherever I was at least going to move up a position. It's kind of a bummer, huge bummer on his part.
Yeah, and even Justin Ritchie said that the basically the same thing. You guys didn't know, and he didn't know. He probably had that alert up on the top left of his screen and left it up to review. But let's go back here, Matt, and talk about, you put this car on the podium, sponsor of tonight's race. You had a fantastic drive, but everybody in the top 5, with the exception of Carter Lenz, was not in the top 10 to start this race.
Yeah. So my average qualifying position at the super speedway so far, I think, is like 19th, which is pretty consistent. I think where I started almost today. And then my average finishing position is 3rd. So super speedways, qualifying is so close. I don't think it really matters, to be honest. Just keeping the car clean.
Well, and you did just that, though. But you were going through your statistics. Matt, you've been up here in the booth before. When's that win coming?
I was hoping for today. There was something with my car. I don't know if I overcooked it a little bit when I was pushing those guys earlier, but as soon as I got in the front of a line, we started to fall back, and I was extremely strong pushing, but when I was in the front of the line, it kind of lagged. So I knew today was going to be a little hard unless I could get a run out of 4 on somebody and hope somebody's shoving me.
Did a fantastic job here tonight. The 11 car led one lap, started back exactly 19th, as you said, on that average. Matt, anybody you want to shout out, though, while we have you up in the booth?
Shout out to my wife and my kids, and my parents that watch every week. Aloe Barbershop. It's my brother-in-law's barbershop. They sponsored me the last 2 years. Been fantastic. My Rolling Thunder teammates, we raced super well all day. Holloway was up there with me most of it. Also with the LFM guys, I mean, we did really well teamwork-wise today, and I'm very proud of it. And for you guys, V-Speed, you guys are awesome every single Wednesday.
Appreciate that very much. Matt Robinson, second place here tonight at Talladega. We'll see you in 1 week's time when we go to Texas.
Thank you.
Well, Alex, we have one more driver, and I'm going to leave it up to you. Let's do a coin toss, rock, paper, scissors, whatever we got to do. Hey, we could do a joint tag team here, and maybe you get to ask this guy some questions because we've seen him in the booth a lot here this season. It's our third place finisher.
We'll bring him on in. Hey there, Jeremy Burns. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
I tell you what, I don't even know if we saw your car on broadcast for about the opening 70 laps of tonight's race, other than to mention at one point you were a lap down. And then in the closing laps, not only did you get up into the mix, you were right involved there at the end, and with the DQ for, or not the DQ, the black flag for the 21, end up on the podium. Talk to us a little bit about your night, because it felt like nothing was really cooking until it was.
I mean, I don't know what it is about the spring Talladega race, but last year it was a fire drill that happened mid-race. This race, I had some going on with the throttle to where I'd be full throttle and then it'd just start blinking and blipping out. So it happened to me in qualifying. That's why I started 32nd, just coming off of turn 2. It just cut the throttle. And mid-race, I come off a pit road and it just completely quits on me. And I had to pull over and end up towing back to pits. And that's how I went 2 laps down and just caught some lucky breaks there. And on the first overtime, right, like it was Carter, myself, and Alex worked so well to get up to the front there, making that third line work, coming from the back to the front. But on that first overtime there, I thought I had fixed it by updating something mid-race. And it just ended up blipping out there on that first overtime. And Alex gave me a huge shove, and I tried getting it to the bottom. And at that point, I'm just trying to do as much as I can to get the best finish possible without, getting people involved. But extremely frustrating night. When you talk about the race overall, I mean, it's great to get the finish. Great to be back on the podium through circumstances. But gosh, it was one of the most frustrating super speedway races because you couldn't control it. You couldn't control the car to the point where you can't control when the throttle's gonna work and not. So kind of mirroring real life where you might have an equipment issue, but when it worked great. And we got the Metroplex car up to the front and back on the podium.
So this is the part where I come in and ask you a question here, Jeremy. Where is that rabbit's foot? I got to ask. I'm looking at your camera right now, and I'm not sure. I see Longwood in the background. I see the bedroom, but I don't see a rabbit's foot anywhere. You got to tell us what the secret is for you having equipment malfunctions. You're updating firmware mid-race, and somehow you still put this race car into the top 3.
Yeah, just kind of maximizing the day, right? I don't really have anything lucky other than the Caps won tonight, so they ended up beating Montreal and advancing in the series. But other than that, I mean, just try to maximize the day, especially when we go laps down at Super Speedway. I was able to help my teammates there on pit strategy before that caution, and luckily didn't get any X's from getting pushed to where I wouldn't get the lucky dog. And luckily the pace laps are long enough to where I could actually go into the drivers and update something mid-race. And then after that, I lost all force feedback. So just trying to maximize the day with what we got. and I feel like we did that tonight, and just really happy to come out of any super speedway with the podium.
Congratulations,
see.
Jeremy.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it sounds like just about anything that could have went wrong did go wrong, but still found a way to make it happen. I feel like you've got a bit of a knack for it. I think back to last year at New Hampshire as well, with the wild time that was. So not the first time we've seen you overcome a multi-lap deficit to salvage a good finish, or in the New Hampshire case, a win. But it's just one of those nights where I'm sure you look at it as like, well, you had a points advantage coming into tonight, and you found a way to maintain that and maybe even build on it coming out of it.
Yeah, just trying to do that week in and week out, just in case I have to miss a week or anything like that. But just try and maximize the points week in and week out. That's always the goal, and especially taking advantage of super speedway where you got guys that'll get into trouble, and I have the potential to get in trouble too. So just trying to do our best here to put the Metroplex Ford Mustang out front. And yeah, tonight it was more luck than skill, but I had my hands full. But on the pit stops, just searching up stuff. But luckily, it's 2 minutes for a pace lap, so I was able to get as much as I could done.
Well, certainly seems like you were able to do that and more so. Jeremy, I know you've got quite the list, but anyone you want to shout out here tonight?
Yeah, shout out my mom and dad, Josie, Dylan, Coach P, Sonny, my grandma, Miss Betsy, Julie, Derek, Caroline, Shan, Belinda, Betty, Colleen, Element X and Performance. A huge shout out there to Carter and Alex for working together. Huge shout out to Richie for getting his first win. Aloe Barbershop for sponsoring, and the obviously you got a shout out Metroplex for being on the hood of the car and their continuous support. Enginuity Power Systems, Chapman Environmental, Buttkicker, Coastal Financial, Ultimate Exterior Lighting, Erhardt Homes, All About Bugs. You guys up here at V-Speed, y'all do a phenomenal job, and I can't wait to go back and watch this chaos unfold. And huge shout out to my throttle pedal for sticking through. So, yeah, yeah, it did just enough.
Alrighty, well, Jeremy, thank you so much for dropping by. Appreciate you joining us as always, and we'll see you next week at Texas.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys.
That was third place finisher, driver of the number 9 machine, Jeremy Burns.
I was going to put him in the infield care center, Alex. I thought that was the better place. Guys over here upgrading his firmware in the middle of the race. So equipment malfunctions there for the 9. And I mean, that now it makes sense, right? That was happening during that race, because we didn't really see the 9 car be a factor at all in this event.
No, but found a way to get up there when it mattered most. And, I think about it now, Bradley, with us having to go a little bit out of order tonight with the way this one wrapped up, our results are done. I talked to our podium finishers, and that's more or less all we've got going on, except for talking about where we're going next.
Well, we've finished up here at Talladega. It's time for another week. You can join us in 1 week's time as we go to Texas Motor Speedway, the 1.5 miles in the Lone Star State. Join us there on V-Speed at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, May 7th, week number 10 of the Chapman Cup Series. Alex, this racetrack has had a reconfiguration, and I think everybody's used to it at this point, but what we're not used to is the way this car handles around this place.
No, certainly not. That's going to take a lot more time, and the way this place goes is a little trickier than your average 1.5 miles, just because turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 run a good bit differently from each other, not to the extremes of a Darlington per se, but 1 and 2 has a much different line you can take than 3 and 4, and sometimes just because you have one end of the track working, you don't get the other side to go with it, and that sometimes can give drivers a whole world of headaches.
Again, you can join us there at 8:30 and hit that subscribe button here on V-Speed. You'll never miss a single race, as will be flag-to-flag coverage all season long here from Racing Revolution. But for everybody that helped put this on, I am Bradley Cooper alongside Alex Gagnon, for Adam Baker, Rob Rader, and everybody that put this together, saying so long from Talladega. We'll see you at Texas. Until then, stay tracking, everybody.